Hello, welcome to Disorient. Now we're going to talk about Asian Americans and mental illness. Mental illness. Ah! So you're probably like, what was that, Emily? Um, all through college, that was exactly what I imagined would happen if I so much as said the word therapy. Or this. So, this is literally what I thought when I thought about the word therapy. I felt this way, even though I literally was walking all of 3 blocks to the college counseling center for weekly therapy. I called it counseling, first of all, because my counselor was a counselor, but also because I felt the word therapy was just this badge of shame, this scarlet letter, this just couldn't say it. But even after college, I still felt like the word therapy was a word that I wasn't allowed to say. And so these past few years, I've been practicing saying the words bit by bit. Hey mom, I'm going to therapy! Oh, blah 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 blah. My therapist said blah 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 blah, so blah blah blah. Or blah 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 blah. I did blah 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 in therapy. Like that. Like, literally just using the words. And I can say it now because I'm a performer and that's kind of what I do. And also I'm really good at pretending, but it's not easy. It's really not easy, especially as an Asian American with stigma. So I'm saying the word therapy, as in psychotherapy, here and now, because all of the junk around the word therapy in our minds needs to change. These apocalyptic negative feelings around therapy and mental illness, like the world is ending if we so much as say the words. Because how in the world is anybody supposed to seek help if they can't even talk about the problem and possible solution? It's hard, if not impossible. So I'm talking about therapy and mental illness now because high school me believed that Asian Americans didn't have mental illness. Like, we just didn't have clinical anxiety or depression or PTSD or whatever that merited seeing a therapist. Or that we somehow had lower levels of mental illness and didn't need help because we were somehow too busy working hard and doing well to have to go to therapy. I know now that that's the model minority myth and the Asian and American stigma against mental illness at play. But my belief back then that Asian Americans don't have mental illness and somehow don't need to see a therapist ever, and somehow don't deserve to see a therapist ever. It's not true. It is not true. I'm talking about mental illness now because college me didn't even know anything was wrong. Even when I was beyond stressed and confused and overwhelmed. Because before I started talking about my own struggles, nobody who looked like me talked about even the possibility of having mental illness. So, because no one talked about it, I genuinely believed I was okay until I wasn't. So, when my mental health crashed in college me was barely able to talk about it. College me was only able enough to get myself into weekly therapy at the college counseling center, and I'm so beyond grateful that I was able to do so. But even in therapy, college me didn't know if I could ever feel better, and believe me, I googled it a lot. College me didn't know if anxiety and depression would be this curse that would float over my head, like, the video game condition that is constantly draining your health. I didn't know if that would stay in my life forever, if I was just doomed to this really awful existence. And I didn't know if it would ever get better, and I wish I could tell her that it can get better and that therapy works And in time, of course, because it's just like really, 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 really slow. I'm not a patient person, and it's slow. I wish she could know that. She could know that it can get better, a lot better, and that loneliness can fade just a little bit if you say a word and let someone know that mental illness therapy, and they're not going to make things explode for you, and the world's not going to explode, and maybe they'll be good about it, and maybe they'll understand. And I'm sad now that I felt too ashamed to say the word therapy outside my sessions, let alone talk about what I ever did in there, even with my closest friends, who I love and are amazing. Also, for the record, high school me didn't swear. And then my friends got me to swear in college, so the fact that I couldn't say therapy in college when I did swear goes to show how deep this whole therapy shame thing goes. Like, I'm not kidding. Anywho, I'm sad that I'm not the only one who has felt these incredibly negative emotions around therapy, around seeking help for mental illness. It's taken talking to and listening to so many of my fellow brave Asian Americans for me to realize that this is not just a me thing. It's an issue that is way bigger than me. But the way beyond it, I think, involves chipping into it, little by little. And that chipping starts with a big step, by saying a word, a sentence. And so I'll start. My name is Emily Chen. I am Asian American, and I struggle with co-occurring mental illnesses, anxiety, depression, and I am also neurodivergent in that I have ADHD. I go to therapy, psychotherapy, and at this point I've been in therapy for, I think in total, almost 4 years, to get help with my struggles. And through therapy, I'm learning to live with ADHD, anxiety, and depression. And my making this video is proof that I am making progress and becoming able to make my dreams real. And the thing is that none of this would have happened, none of these awesome things that have happened in my life, without the guidance and support and encouragement of my therapist. And also a shout out to my college counselor who started me off with a bang and taught me about all the awesome Asian American things. Thank you. I wouldn't be doing this without your help then, and it means the world to me. In therapy, my therapist is there for me when I'm not able to be there for myself. My therapist sees and reminds me of my strengths when I can sometimes only see my weaknesses. My therapist guides me towards a more centered me when, heaven knows, I've gone off, way off. Through therapy, I'm learning that I'm not the scum of the earth for feeling anxious or depressed or just really confused and distracted. I'm learning that this complicated mix of is the way I am. And yes, I need help and support in learning ways to manage it and reduce the symptoms and the struggle. And that's okay, because there is help. I can get help, and I am getting help. And I am all the better for it. And so my life is by no means like, daisies and roses and unicorns and cupcakes and all that stuff, but I can genuinely say now that I am overall happy and fulfilled and on a path where, I see hope and a good life. And when the hard moments do come, I know that, at least somewhere inside me, that those hard moments will pass, because they have always passed. And in college, when things were really not great, I couldn't say that, but I can say that now. And and I'm really glad that I can. So I want to let you Asian Americans out there know that you don't need to crash like I did before you seek help. I hope that by watching Disorient, you can realize, maybe even for a fraction of a second, that you are allowed to have feelings, and you can have feelings while being respectful to your parents, teachers, friends, loved ones, everyone we're taught to be respectful to. You're allowed to struggle with thoughts and emotions, and you're allowed to seek help for it, and to go to therapy, and to grow from therapy. I hope that you can know that Asian Americans with mental illness exist. Asian Americans who go to therapy to get help for mental illness exist. I hope that you can be empowered to seek help before things crash, because it's a lot harder to get out when things are bad. I hope that you might Google mental illness, or find something cool to read, or listen to something, or watch something about mental illness to help you learn more. Not just about what maybe you are struggling with, but just what exists out there, to just know about it. I hope that maybe you can talk about mental illness or therapy, maybe just a beep for a hot second. Or if you already talk about it, yay, maybe a little more. Because mental illness and therapy are really important. And, I'm not saying that, we all run around and be like, therapy, mental health, woo! No. Mental health is personal, and even if you're the most open person ever, this mental health awareness stuff doesn't mean that you share everything or have to share anything. It's personal. And it's also emotionally risky, talking about tough topics like mental illness and therapy, because you might be engaging with people in spaces, maybe really close and beloved people in spaces, who nonetheless may buy deeply into the model minority myth or the stigma against mental illness and therapy. So, it is really important, but just be careful and use your judgment, because your emotional safety and comfort matters. Your emotions and who you share them with is precious, and so, speak, but also take care. But if you're able, say the words therapy, mental illness, because these little words are actually really big. If you think them, write them, say them, each time you do so, you can help break down those walls, the huge wall of stereotypes and stigmas that hurt us Asian Americans so much. And, maybe if you say a little more, or think a little more, you can find out and know that there are people out there who get it, who won't judge you for being real about mental health and illness. And whether they're fellow Asian Americans or BIPOC or white allies, or whether they're Asian Americans who have been through similar things, just know that there are safe spaces to talk about mental health and therapy. Because, otherwise everything will just stay the same. So however you choose to interact with mental health, mental illness, and therapy, whether more discreetly or more openly, I want you, my fellow Asian American, beautiful, wonderful people, to know that you're not alone. If anything, I'm here and talking about it, so that makes for one of us. Plus all you people who've talked to me already, also. And so I hope you'll join me in dismantling the stigmas and stereotypes around Asian American mental illness. One word at a time, one thought at a time, so that we can make a better, more peaceful, and more mentally healthy Asian American community and world.